light means it's working.
Or that just means it's on.
You got that?
That? That means it's on.
All right, guys, 30 seconds after you try to go. Ready? Okay, I'll call the special meeting of Tuesday, August 15th, the Board of Supervisors in the Truckee Town Hall. Mr. Haffey, will you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's a big couple for you up there. That's Carolyn's.
Julie, are there any corrections or deletions to the agenda?
The only correction, Chair, is we posted a ROTA agenda to just clarify that there's no teleconferencing today between Truckee and Nevada City.
Okay, thank you. With that, I'll open up public comment. Members of the public shall be allowed to address the board on items not appearing on the agenda and that are of interest to the public and are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. Is there any public comment? Seeing no public comment, I will close the public comment period and we will go to scheduled items. And the first one, item 1, resolution proclaiming September 16th as South Yuba River Citizens League's 20th annual Yuba River cleanup in Nevada County. Rachel, if you want to, that's the I think it's the speaker area.
My name is Rachel Hutchinson. I'm the science director at the South Yuba River Citizens League, and we just want to thank the Board of Supervisors and Nevada County for continuing to support our efforts to clean up the Yuba River. This is our 20th annual cleanup, so we've been doing this since, if I can count 20 years back, since 1998 or so. And the county has been extremely supportive of this work to try to keep trash out of the Yuba River Canyon. And we are really excited to have a big party, which you guys are all invited to. We invite you all, of course, to come and volunteer in the morning to help us clean up the river, and you can sign up on our website, yubariver.org. And afterwards, we're having a big 20th anniversary celebration, which is also our executive director's last day of work. So if you're interested in coming and wishing him well in his future endeavors, that would be your last opportunity to do so. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And any questions? Do you have a nice new outfit for him?
I hope so. I don't think we have a, we do a fundraiser associated with the cleanup, and a couple of years ago we convinced him that if the staff beat him in fundraising, he would wear crocheted shorts. And I don't know if we have that kind of competition going with him, but we could that would be a good way to send him on his way back to Berkeley. Yeah.
Okay, any?
Chair Weston, just a couple things. Rachel, could you please repeat the date for the event?
It's September 16th. It's a Saturday, and I think that cleanups start around 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, and they're all the way up here we do some cleanups at Van Norden Meadow up on the summit, and they go all the way. There's cleanups in the North Yuba and restoration projects in the Middle Yuba and on the South Fork of the Yuba, closer to Nevada City. And then the party is at Pioneer Park, and it starts, I think, at 12. or maybe 1 o'clock.
Nevada City?
Nevada City.
And for those who might want to engage in cleanup work up here, up at the summit, for example, how can they contact, should they contact you or contact Circle or what?
Contact Circle. We have a sign up page. If you go to yubarriver.org, there's a whole volunteer sign up system. It's called Shiftboard, and you can go and get a login and sign up for the cleanup, and then you'll be able to see what sites are available. I think there's 2 or 3 sites on the upper South Fork of the Yuba River, which runs along Highway 80.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Ed? No? It's your district, so you'll take care of the party on,
I'll be there cleaning up, and I'll be there at the party.
you have to be, you have to give them all the good stuff when you speak. Okay, I'm going to read the resolution. Proclaiming September 16th, 2017 as South Yuba River Citizen League's 20th annual river cleanup in Nevada County. Whereas the mission of the South Yuba River Citizens League is to unite the community to protect and restore the Yuba River through advocacy, engaging in active stewardship, educating the public, and inspiring activism from the Sierra to the sea. And whereas every year more than 700,000 people visit the Yuba River swimming holes, beaches, and trails, leaving behind tons of trash and recyclable bottles and cans, and I'm just going to add, and we have found all kinds of other stuff out there besides those. Whereas Circle's annual Yuba River cleanup and River Ambassador programs are designed to keep the river clean and healthy and safe. Whereas over the past 19 years, Circle volunteers have removed 204,000 pounds of trash and recyclables. Whereas in 2016, over 850 volunteers removed approximately 9,000 pounds of trash and 1,500 pounds of recyclables from nearly 90 miles of river, creek, and lake shoreline at 30 sites within the Yuba River and Bear River watersheds. And whereas the families love the cleanup and is an excellent team-building opportunity for youth, school groups, clubs, faith-based organizations, and businesses to build camaraderie and leadership skills while cleaning up trash and trails on our cherished watershed. And whereas keeping the river from being trashed is more than a one-day-a-year activity, whereas since 2012, a group of dedicated volunteer river ambassadors have spent every summer weekend educating visitors at the 4 major state park river crossings about how to keep our waterways clean and safe. Whereas Circle's river ambassadors promote an ethic of responsibility, non-polluting use of the river by speaking one-on-one with park guests at crossings, beaches, and on trails, using a friendly, non-confrontational approach to bring awareness to the polluting impacts of trash, dog waste, the dangers of broken glass, and the catastrophic potential of wildfire. And whereas the river ambassadors have spoken to over 30,000 river goers, removed 32,000 pieces of trash, and collected more than 4,000 piles of dog waste, and worked diligently to keep our river healthy by also providing dog waste and trash bags to recreationists. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Nevada County hereby proclaims September 16th, 2017 as Yuba River Cleanup in Nevada County, and encourages volunteers to register early for their favorite cleanup sites at www.yubarriver.org for family-friendly, fun morning spent cleaning and restoring the river, followed by an afternoon volunteer appreciation party with free lunch for registered volunteers at Pioneer Park in Nevada City. So with that, I would entertain a motion for the resolution.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and second, roll call.
District 3?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes. Okay, here's your proclamation. Do we have a picture? Yes. Okay, very good. We'll do it right in front so the board, they're lazy, they don't want to get up. They don't want to get up. So,
You want us all?
you get them all in?
Yeah, Chair, we can come down and join you if you'd like.
Or this?
If you hold your smile the whole time while they're.
No, I'm down. Let's do it.
Let's just photobomb it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yep. Yep.
Congratulations, Rachel, and we'll be going.
Trippy things here. Okay, next item. Item 2, presentation by the Arts Collaborative of Nevada County, also known as the Nevada County Arts Council, regarding the town of Truckee's designation as a California Cultural District. Liza Tudor, Executive Director.
Good morning, supervisors. I'm delighted to be here, and Dan, thank you for the evil eye. I will keep this short. So just to formally announce to you what you already know is that Nevada County is now unique among rural counties in California in that all 3 of its populated areas fall underneath California Cultural District designation. One through the designation of the Grass Valley, Nevada City Cultural District, and one the Truckee Cultural District. Both are designated as emerging cultural districts. And I'd like to introduce Hilary Hobbs, who I'm sure you already know from the town of Truckee. Hilary, come on up. We'll share this mic. When the opportunity first arose for districts to apply for designation, you will remember me addressing the supervisors and letting you know that I thought it would be great if Truckee were to apply too. So we worked closely as an arts council with the town of Truckee, with Tony Lashbrook at the time, and Tony designated Hilary to be the lead applicant in the partnership for Truckee. And I thought it would be nice if Hilary herself were to explain how that partnership took place and the next steps for Truckee.
Thanks, Eliza. Truckee's application to be a cultural district was a joint effort between the town of Truckee, the Truckee Chamber of Commerce, Truckee Public Arts Commission, and with strong support from the Truckee Arts Alliance, which is an emerging group of art advocates in town. It's been a great collaborative effort with broad-based support from local artists, galleries, nonprofits, youth organizations, and we're delighted that it came to pass that we were selected. As next steps for the town, we'll be working closely on stakeholder outreach, as well as on integrating our new cultural district designation into our existing California Welcome Center in downtown Truckee, and our marketing efforts that are led by the Chamber of Commerce to invite folks to visit Truckee, not just for our outstanding scenery and our outdoor culture, skiing and recreation, but also for the exciting emerging arts activities and opportunities that we have here in town.
Thanks so much, Hilary. So there are a couple of key things that, just to point out, so why stakeholder engagement? The question is back to the community. We have the designation, and now it's up to the communities of both Truckee and Grass Valley and Nevada City to say, we as a collective community want to see this from our designation. This is the flavor we'd like our cultural districts to have. I've spoken with the executive office with Alison about planning a large town hall style public meeting in October, possibly in Grass Valley, but it could equally be up here. To which the city managers, the city mayors, council members, supervisors, the arts community, the business community, and the general public can come and ask questions and give pause for thought about what our cultural districts might mean. In late October, Visit California will be engaging with every single designated lead across California in a conference call to discuss what marketing needs that each district has and signage for our areas. And that will be a wonderful sort of peer review modelling opportunity for us. We're also going to be attending, both Truckee and Grass Valley, Nevada City are going to be attending a Northern California Cultural Districts Summit in Redding in November, in mid-November, and the date's yet to be announced. And that's going to be hosted by Shasta Arts Council, who are one of the designated cultural district leads as well. And that will be yet another opportunity to benchmark and model around one another. Do you have any questions?
Questions? That when you just look at me, it means no?
No.
Okay.
No, I just want to tell Eliza that, it really speaks to the different organizations and groups that are dedicated to the arts in Nevada County, and to get this designation through. Back in the 60s, I had a meeting with a friend yesterday. We talked about Truckee, what Truckee was like in the 60s. Truckee was the armpit of Nevada County back in the 60s, but seriously.
Steady.
Seriously, it was. No one wanted to claim Truckee, but Hank and I were driving through downtown Truckee, and you look at the streetscape and what's going on in Truckee and how beautiful Truckee has become. It's the gem of Nevada County now, and certainly huge difference from 50 years ago. So I got to credit the Arts Council here in Truckee and the town of Truckee for bringing Truckee to this position. So congratulations.
Thank you. And it's incredibly clear to me as Executive Director of Nevada County Arts Council that there is an emerging arts leadership here in Truckee, which is very strong. Truckee Public Art Commission and now Truckee Arts Alliance are working very closely with us and with the town of Truckee and the Truckee Donner Chamber of Commerce. So it's absolutely super. Just a last point. In applying for state local partnership this year with California Arts Council, Nevada County Arts Council, as with all arts councils across California, were asked how we were taking the lead in developing a county-wide cultural plan, which is being seen as very much to be in partnership with our designation. So I look forward to speaking with the County of Nevada, with the Board of Supervisors, and as senior management on what that might look like in future months. Thank you.
I have one comment too, Eliza. Thank you for your presentation. I'm so excited that we're doing this, and I know this is about creating a cultural flavor, but to my mind, it also goes hand in hand with our economic development. And I'd love to see a great collaboration among all of the chambers, and as well as the cities and county and the ERC. And if there's anything we can do to help facilitate that dialogue, be sure to let us know.
We absolutely will. And a key sign of a successful cultural district is that it is an economic lever, a driver, and that it leverages economic empowerment, drives economic success. So absolutely. Thank you.
Don't go yet, Eliza. Just a few words. Thank you for organizing this effort. It's a coup, quite literally, and your skills and your passion for this designation, these designations, and your efforts over the course of the last year paid off. And Hillary, thank you also for being engaged with the town. I just want to give a shout out to Truckee Vice Mayor Carolyn D. She and I sat at this dais a decade ago when the town adopted a general plan which included, for the first time in this community, public art policies. And I like to think that was the initial first step which led to this happening. Truckee is, as Dan pointed out, Truckee is doing great things with regard to its downtown and with regard to public art all in all. And there are a lot of people who have been engaged in this, and a lot of people who are making sure that the effort continues, among which are, as you note, are the Truckee Public Arts Commission, which is through the Recreation and Park District, and the Truckee Arts Alliance. So I tip my hat to all of you, and especially to you, Eliza. You've done great work, and it's very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liza. I was going to say thank you very much for the succinct report, and at the same time, I wanted to thank you because since you've been the executive director, you've amassed a passion and a one focused direction that I think we've all been looking for, and I just want to congratulate you on doing an excellent job.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is the consent calendar. These items are routine and non-controversial, and the Board of Supervisors can act upon them at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request an item be removed from the consent calendar for discussion. Colleagues? Staff? Public? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion for the consent calendar.
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
District 3?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes. Okay, the next item is Public Health Director Jill Blake, but in her stead will be Agency Director Michael Higgerty. And that this is a resolution approving grant agreement between the County of Nevada and the California Department of Public Health for naloxone distribution project.
Thank you and good morning, Chair Weston, other members of the board. Jill Blake couldn't make it today, so I'm doing this presentation to ask for your approval to accept the allocation of $10,000 worth of naloxone aerosol sprays, which is 270 units. So the State of California Naloxone Distribution Project has a total of $3 million, and using formulas based on estimated opioid usage and population, they determined a non-competitive distribution program. Naloxone is a medication that immediately reverses the effects of opiate overdoses. It has almost no adverse effects or side effects. It has no potential for abuse, and it can be rapidly administered using a nasal spray by trained bystanders, family members, and friends. The Center for Disease Control published a study in 2015 estimating that Narcan, which is the brand name for naloxone, that Narcan kits had saved 27,000 lives by reversing fatal drug overdoses caused by opioids. In addition to saving lives, naloxone can reduce hospital admission rates and days spent in the hospitals for treatment of non-fatal overdoses. The most recent data we have for Nevada County is 2015, when we had 4 opioid overdose deaths. Now, compared to the northeast part of our country and parts of the Midwest, we've not been affected to a huge degree like other parts of the country. However, even though we have between 4 and 8 deaths in the past 4 years, those are deaths that can be prevented with naloxone. We've had 30, 35 people hospitalized in the past 4 years each year, and around 20 people have been to the emergency room for overdoses, non-fatal overdoses. So this is what the Narcan nasal spray looks like. We're not actually being given the $10,000. We're only being given the 270 doses. Those doses will come half this year and half next year. So the criteria for how the county should be distributing the 270 doses are in the bullet points in this slide. So there needs to be somebody who can be a prescriber, a physician or physician's assistant. They have to have staff that are trained to provide education, including how to store the naloxone, how to administer it, overdose prevention techniques, signs and symptoms of overdose, when and how to call 911, and post-overdose care. So our public health department conducted outreach throughout Nevada County to see what organizations had the ability to meet those criteria. They looked at what was the organization's capacity to efficiently and effectively provide naloxone and the training. They looked at which organizations were serving potential high-risk individuals for overdose. We don't have a syringe exchange program in our county, but the requirement would be to give priority to a syringe exchange program if we had one present. So outreach was conducted throughout the county to emergency service providers such as Truckee PD, Nevada City PD, the Sheriff, Grass Valley Fire, Consolidated Fire District, and also substance use treatment providers such as Community Recovery Resources, Western Sierra Medical Clinic, and Chapa Day. The plan proposed for 2017 includes to give the 270 doses to the 4 organizations on this slide: Community Recovery Resources, the Grass Valley Fire Department, Nevada County Public Health, and the Nevada County Sheriff's Department in the jail. It's a short presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions and ask for your support to accept the allocation of naloxone.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions? Yeah, Ed?
You just noted, Michael, that priority would be given to a syringe program. What the difference being instead of nasal, it would actually be an injection, same product?
I should have explained that better, Supervisor. A syringe exchange program allows individuals to bring used syringes to a designated site, turn in the used syringes, and receive clean, sterile syringes. It's called a syringe exchange program, and we don't have one in our county.
Well, what does that have to do with opioid overdoses?
You would expect that that population of people bringing used syringes would be at high risk for overdose.
I see. I guess. Okay. Thank you.
Question. Michael, on the report here, it says trained and equipped bystanders such as friends, family, and other health care providers can effectively respond in reverse. How do friends and family become responders? Or training?
For many years, from like 2005 to 2010, there was a belief that only trained medical professionals could administer naloxone, such as emergency medical technicians or physicians or registered nurses. Research indicated that both the injectable naloxone and the nasal spray could be safely administered by lay people who were trained by professionals. So the 4 organizations, CORE, the Grass Valley Police, Grass Valley Fire, and Public Health, will be training individuals such as parents, spouses, roommates, will be trained because you can't really administer it to yourself if you're unconscious. So typically it's another person with you that would administer the naloxone.
So these people would have had to have contacted a health agency saying, hey, I've got a roommate who's using opioids and he's in danger of ODing, and then he's going to receive training
Yes.
and receive a kit?
Yes.
Okay.
Or a family member.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
I have a question too. I actually didn't see on the slide you mentioned the sheriff's department, but not the police departments. And I know they're not our jurisdiction, but I'm curious. What it seems to me that both the police departments and the schools, the school nurses, ought to be having some of these. So you may not have that background in front of you, Michael, but I'm wondering if that's something we should be considering.
The outreach was conducted to the Truckee Police Department and the Nevada City Police Department. They were interested, but not this year. They may be interested next year, and we'll be revisiting in the 2018 plan, we'll recontact them and see if they have made a different decision. We'd also be doing additional outreach to the Sheriff's Department, who declined to use naloxone with the deputies on patrol, but do want to use it in the jail. So we'll be revisiting that in our 2018 plan.
Okay, and how about the schools, like the high schools, the nurses or counselors?
To my knowledge, outreach wasn't conducted to the schools. I'm not sure they would meet the criteria. I'd have to look more into that.
I think that might be where I'd be interested in knowing a little bit more about that, making sure we've at least covered that base. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Weston. So, Michael, my impression is that training is being training for family members, for friends of opioid abusers, is taking place in Western Nevada County at CORE and so on. Is there any training available here in the Eastern Nevada County?
Outreach was conducted to different sites and organizations in Eastern Nevada County. The Truckee Police Department was the only organization that appeared to meet the criteria, and they declined participation during this year.
Could we check with the hospital district, for example, see if they have an interest in doing something, if you haven't done so already, that is, or public health at the Joseph Center? Yeah, I mean, it seems awkward to have someone drive all the way down to Nevada City, Grass Valley from up here to do the training. I'm just wondering if there are any other options that might be available. Anyway, if you could look into it, I'd appreciate it.
We'd be happy to.
Thanks.
Sure. I mean, Ed?
I'm just curious, Michael, what is the timing in the case of an overdose?
The reversal effects are immediate. So,
but what is the timing if you're in an overdose situation that the naloxone needs to be given to a person?
It would depend on the amount of drug that was ingested. It would depend on your own metabolism. It would depend on your body size. So there'd be a variety of factors. And that part of the training would be able to recognize the signs and symptoms of overdose.
Good. Thank you.
Chair Weston, if I may, one more question. Michael, is the issue really opioid abuse versus, say, heroin addiction in our county?
Naloxone is effective against opiates, which are opium derivatives such as heroin and morphine. Naloxone is also effective with all opioids, including synthetics like Vicodin, fentanyl, and OxyContin. So the data that we have doesn't sort it out by heroin versus synthetic opioids.
Okay, so I was just curious if there is sort of a hardcore drug culture in our county. I don't know, quite frankly. So, but we do know though that the abuse of medical opioids is rampant across the country, and this is a way to begin dealing with some of the extremely adverse effects of that abuse. Frankly, I think it's great we're doing this. So thank you for pursuing it.
Thank you for your support.
So, Michael, it said 270 units, so year one will be 135, year two is 135?
Correct.
Is there any, in some counties, I'm sure there might be greater use. Is there like a reserve amount so that if you used everything up in 6 months, I'm not saying we're going to, but if we did, is there a way we can tap in, or we just say at the end of 6 months, that's it?
I think that would be that's it. There was only $3 million total. However, last week, President Trump indicated his intention to declare a public health emergency related to opioid use and abuse. And some of us are hopeful that that may turn into funding that would fund different kinds of medication-assisted treatments, including naloxone.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? No questions. Okay, with that, I would entertain an entertain the resolution approving the grant agreement.
So moved?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
District 3?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes. Okay, the next item, County Librarian Laura Papani, resolution directing the Auditor Control to amend the fiscal year 17-18 library budget to increase revenues and expenditures by $450,869 resulting from the new library transaction and use tax for Nevada County Libraries.
Good morning, Chair Weston, members of the board. As you'll recall, in May, the library brought to this board a 5-year strategic plan outlining the key initiatives that we were recommending to undertake. And the board approved that resolution. And this budget amendment takes the direction given by the board through that approval of the strategic plan and puts resources in place to enhance services and programs for the library throughout the county. The budget amendment will support increased hours, be about a 14% increase in hours across the county system, and then about 6 or 9 months we'll reevaluate some of the hours and see if we're able to increase even more. Staffing and budget to support some of our projects, such as the mobile technology van, resuming county oversight of the Doris Foley Library for Historical Research, and also other projects such as a satellite location for Truckee set up for that, and the funds to continue administering it. Since we're in Truckee, a lot of my comments will emphasize Truckee initiatives, but there will be programs and services throughout the county, classes and programs we would like to have at all of the branches, not just focused on the Madeline Helling branch, including in Truckee, on technology, family programs, programs aimed at youth. We would like to have technology available in Truckee to be used, and that's the idea behind the satellite location, such as 3D printers, more public internet access computers, and also to have the mobile technology van visiting up in Truckee to the library, to schools, and to other locations to bring programs and classes and the opportunity to use some of the technology that we have. Some other improvements that are specific to Truckee are interior improvements in the current library facility, moving bookcases, opening space for seating, improving the lighting, new furniture, new carpet, things like that. I've mentioned the Truckee satellite. The idea behind that is that the current facility is too small to support a lot of classes or programs. So we would like to look into opening up a space that's nearby where we could have technology such as more public internet computers, as well as hopefully room for programs and classes which we do not currently have, or which are minimal in the current site. As I mentioned before, it's a key initiative for this fiscal year to have programs and classes available at all of the library branches. The budget amendment will also support after-school programs and services, which were indicated by the public as a priority. That would take the form of homework help clubs, things like that, as well as homework resources online. And we recently added a half-time position for a youth librarian position in Truckee that will help to drive those programs in this area. So in general, the budget amendment fulfills the library's mission as expressed in the expenditure plan from Measure A, the sales tax measure, as well as the 5-year strategic plan. And my request is that the budget amendment be approved.
Thank you, Laura. Questions? Richard?
Laura, thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the additional emphasis upon the Truckee Library. With regard to the satellite technology location that you've noted in the staff report, you mentioned that it would include additional computers and and also provide space for classes, it sounds like. What other sorts of uses might be at that location?
It would be nice if there was enough space available to do other types of programs, not necessarily technology focused, but craft or special interest or just kind of community meetings and things like that are library centric. It would give us a space to have equipment such as a 3D printer up here in Truckee and not just have to be brought back and forth for specific programs. And down at the Madeline Helling Library, members of the public who attend classes and are certified to use the 3D printer are then able to sign up to borrow it within the library for a certain amount of time to work on their own projects. So that would also be a goal.
And actually, I'm curious, is that borrowing of the 3D printer within the library, is that free for the public? Is there any charge for that usage?
Yes, Supervisor Anderson, at the time it is free. If we ever have to expend a lot of funding for the materials, we might have to have a nominal fee to cover that, but at the time being, we are in the position not to have to charge a fee at all for the usage of that.
Great, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, any questions from the public? Okay, seeing none, I would entertain a motion on the resolution directing the Auditor Controller to amend the 2017-18 library budget.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call?
District 3?
Yes.
District 1?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes. Okay, that was a quickie. Announcements. So, board members have any announcements?
Was a great Nevada County Fair.
Yeah, it was Fair Week, so we have no announcements, Hank.
Okay, that's good.
Chair Weston, I have one announcement. Last week, I was privileged to take part in a day-long tour of meadow restoration projects that was sponsored by the National Forest Foundation. They had brought out a number of corporate representatives, folks from Coca-Cola, from Target, and other large companies who have an interest in this sort of work. And in essence, the Forest Service was showing off, in conjunction with the National Forest Foundation, the great projects that have taken place here: Paraso Meadows, up at Donner's Summit, Rachel's project at Lake Van Norden, and another project over by Stampede Lake. And the intent is to attract corporate funding for similar projects elsewhere in California. But they're using our projects as examples of what can be done and what success looks like. And it was, I think it was educational and for everyone, and there was a great party and dinner afterwards. The most important part. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, I can report that we had our fourth homeless processes improvement group last week, which we brought together again some providers for homelessness services, talked a little bit about warming shelters, and started talking a little bit about housing, low-income housing. And we presented our summary of gaps that we had identified over the course of the 3 previous meetings, and we'll be discussing sending that list to the COC to start working through those solutions to those gaps. Folks from Truckee have been invited to these meetings, and we'll continue to coordinate with them. We're also working on a set of community standards for homelessness service providers, so we're all on the same page, and that will hopefully, eventually be something that comes to the councils and the board. And again, we're inviting the Truckee folks to work with us as so much as they want, and we're happy to share what we come up with in the West County with them as well. So I think that's been a successful process. What we envisioned to come out of that group has been completed. I think we might want to convene it again or do more of a public workshop at some point. to talk about where we are and where we're going. But that's the last meeting we envisioned to talk about gaps in service and how to identify them, and now we're going to be looking at what to do about those. So that was just wanted to report back on that.
Okay. Ed?
And just one point, I have met with constituents involving marijuana, and I've just got to tell you, I'm shocked at the numbers that we're seeing in South County of hoop houses, obvious outdoor grows, and with harvest coming on, just be prepared. It's just, it's what I think of as west of Highway 49 down there. To me, it's just overwhelming, the amounts of grows and how it's impacting some of those neighborhoods down there. Just be ready.
Okay, I'm ready. I guess we will have a special meeting on the 5th, and all I want to make sure is that all board members put together at least, we're not going to receive anything from the CAG as far as recommendations. They're looking for us to give them guidance and parameters on where they should be focusing on their proposed recommendations. So I would just say everybody be prepared, come prepared.
Hank, will we be receiving any kind of a summary package of what they've been doing so far, or the presentations they've had, anything like that?
As far as I know, we're not, but we're going to be given a presentation.
Okay. Great.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor, you will be receiving some information. I talked to Sean Powers early this morning, and he's putting together a packet. I can't accurately describe it at this point, but he's working with Daniel from MEG to put together the appropriate packet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Chair Weston.
Yes.
One more question. Have the, or maybe it's for staff, but have the Grow Advocates provided packets to the CAG? And if so, can we see those? Because I'm curious what they're saying, if anything.
Whatever materials I'll pass that on to Sean. Whatever materials that have been presented to the CAG certainly can be passed on to the Board of Supervisors.
Great. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, nothing else, no other business. So we are adjourned until the 5th of September. Thank you.